What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to a very exciting Liverpool transfer news video, because according to journalists in Germany and also in South America, Liverpool are showing very concrete interest in Piero Hincapie, the 21-year-old hugely talented centre-back playing for Xabi Alonso's magnificent Bayer Leverkusen, who are still unbeaten this season in all competitions. They are leading in the Bundesliga, 4 points ahead of Bayern. Yes, Bayern have a game in hand. Plus, they have won all of their Europa League games, recently thrashing Molde, I think, 5-1 at home. And Hincapie is rated very highly by Liverpool FC, and we have been scouting him for like 6 months, going on a year. But Bayer Leverkusen want around 65-70 million euros for him, which could be around 60 million pounds. Newcastle, AC Milan and AS Roma are also interested in him. AC Milan and Roma are not in a financial position to bid 60 million for him, and Newcastle probably are not as attractive right now as Liverpool are. Newcastle crashed out of the Champions League. They didn't even qualify for the Europa League. But I mean, it's understandable. Newcastle have an injury crisis and Liverpool right now don't have a defensive injury crisis. But many Liverpool fans were nervously sweating when Konate started the game against Union Saint-Gilloise. But thankfully, Jurgen Klopp only wanted to give Konate 45 minutes and Gomez came on at half-time. And Liverpool didn't get any serious injuries. And congratulations to Gerald Kwanzaa for getting his first goal in Europe for Liverpool, and a brilliant first touch and a great finish into the far corner of the net, or near post corner of the net. In the end, Liverpool lost 2-1 to Union Saint-Gilloise, but the goal that Union scored it looked like he was offside when he ran clean through to go past Keller. Keller was a little bit unlucky with the first goal I'm talking about, but it was probably offside. They didn't show us the lines, which reminded me of the Luis Diaz farcical offside decision. And according to football transfers in Germany, Liverpool are indeed showing interest in Leverkusen's Piero Hincapie, who is just 21 years old, and he's available for around 60 million pounds in the January transfer window. Let me know, do you think Liverpool need to sign a centre-back more or a centre midfielder? I think with Thiago and Bajcetic coming back, the centre-back position is a lot more dangerous, a lot more precarious for Liverpool, because if we get an injury to either Konate or even Joe Gomez, Liverpool's season would be seriously screwed. Remember Arsenal last season, where Saliba got injured? Until then Arsenal was flying in the Premier League, and then Rob Holding had to play some games. No disrespect, he's not even in the same conversation as Saliba, and Arsenal dropped so many points. They conceded, I think, 3 goals at home to Southampton, and this could happen to Liverpool as well if Liverpool are not careful. Hincapie has been playing quite regularly for Leverkusen. He has played all of the Europa League games. He has played 7 games in the Bundesliga, 2 games in the German Cup. But Leverkusen have such a brilliant squad that they have been rotating their centre-backs. He pretty much started started 5 of the 6 Europa League group stage games, and he also recently played twice against Union Berlin and Werder Bremen. But against the big teams like Dortmund, Stuttgart, Xabi Alonso doesn't really trust him to be a starter. Probably he goes with experience more, with Jonathan Tah and Tapsoba, 2 very experienced centre-backs. And also, he hasn't played that many games in the Bundesliga because he was serving a red card suspension. He wasn't available for the first 3 games of Leverkusen's season, and that's why he found himself on the bench. But he recently started 2 games in the Bundesliga, and also he played twice in the German Cup as well. He's only 21 years old, so you shouldn't really judge him too harshly. He's from Ecuador, 183 centimeters tall. Leverkusen signed him for just 6.5 million euros, and he is already an Ecuador international players playing 26 times for a very, very talented Ecuador national team who qualified for the recent World Cup. And of course, Leverkusen are going for the title, they are going for the Europa League trophy, they are going for the German Cup, so they don't necessarily want to sell one of their centre backs. But if Liverpool pay around 45-50 million pounds because he is not yet a fully fledged starting centre back for Leverkusen, I can see a world where Leverkusen will accept that, because Hincapie is not really first choice for them in the Bundesliga. Of course, Hincapie has a lot of talent, but for the right price, every player is sellable at Leverkusen, and I feel that Xabi Alonso sooner or later will outgrow Leverkusen and he will go to a bigger club as well, and that's how the Leverkusen talents like Florian Wirtz, Hincapie and others will end up going to bigger clubs in the end, because Leverkusen just can't offer the same wages and also the same ambition as Liverpool. Leverkusen are having right now a great season, but they haven't won the Bundesliga in forever, and they are not really in contention to be, Champions League winners anytime soon, Bundesliga champions regularly. So every young player uses Leverkusen as a stepping stone. That's the harsh reality of modern football, sadly. And I feel Xabi Alonso, when potentially Real Madrid will come calling, if Ancelotti goes to manage the Brazil national team, there are rumors of that happening after the season, then Xabi Alonso could go to Real Madrid. He could even go to Bayern Munich. At the moment, Thomas Tuchel is not doing any wonders at Bayern, so the Bayern Munich job could be available maybe next summer as well. So Xabi Alonso, I don't see him staying at Leverkusen beyond this season unless they offer him a big new contract, or unless one of the big clubs don't come calling. But I don't see that happening. Xabi Alonso is literally the most sought after manager in the world, and I mean not by looks, but Xabi Alonso is a very handsome man, but he's even more attractive when you look at his CV, what he has done on the pitch as a player, what he has done off the pitch, and as a manager is absolutely tremendous. He took over Leverkusen when they were 17th in the Bundesliga last season. He guided them to the Europa League semi-final, he guided them to finish in a European place again, and now he's leading the Bundesliga literally unbeaten this season. Absolutely incredible work. And hopefully, eventually, when Jurgen Klopp leaves Liverpool, hopefully in 5, 6, 7, 8 years, then I want Xabi Alonso to be the next Liverpool manager. And I think he wants to manage Liverpool one day in the future as well. And it could be a good thing for Liverpool if Xabi Alonso goes to another club and gets even more experience, and because with more experience managers usually get better. And the Liverpool.com website is reporting that Bayer Leverkusen could be willing to sell Hincapie in January. It is unclear what kind of bid they would accept. He has a £60 million release clause, but Leverkusen could probably and would probably accept a little bit less if Hincapie said that he wants to join Liverpool, and why wouldn't he? He would be really starting probably in 1 or 2 years alongside Virgil van Dijk or Konate. And last summer Liverpool were linked with Hincapie, but at that time Hincapie was an ever-present in a Leverkusen team. This season, however, he only played 17% of the available Bundesliga minutes, which means Leverkusen would be a lot more open to sell Hincapie right now in the January transfer window, because he's not a regular player under Xabi Alonso. He's not regularly starting for them. And the newspaper is saying if there is a centre-back out there that Liverpool can get, it makes all the sense in the world to get the deal done in January with Joao Matip's season-ending injury. Accelerating the plan to bring in a defender could make the difference between Liverpool just finishing in the top 4 comfortably or actually winning the Premier League title and going far in the Europa League. Right now, I don't think we even have a squad to challenge on all fronts. I think we should play our second team in the League Cup against West Ham. I know it's a quarter-final, but if Liverpool get through to the semi-finals and we get, the centre-backs injured, then that could really hurt Liverpool's Premier League campaign. And the Premier League, I think, should be Liverpool's top priority. The second priority should be the Europa League, and only after that we should prioritize the FA Cup and the League Cup. Of course, with the League Cup quarter-final coming up, Liverpool still have enough firepower up front to go past West Ham, and the game is at Anfield, thankfully, so I see a big chance of Liverpool qualifying to the semi-finals. And then if you rotate the squad well enough, and I think Jurgen Klopp is doing a great job of that, hopefully we can get through the semi-finals and get to the final. But winning the League Cup shouldn't be a priority. We already won it 2 seasons ago. Winning the Premier League should be the number one priority for Liverpool, and I think Jurgen Klopp is rotating the team nicely. And I also want to review the Union Saint-Gilloise game. So Liverpool played a very mixed team. Gakpo started, Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott, Endo, but Liverpool, and also Konate and Kwanzaa started at the back, but we had very young fullbacks, and of course Liverpool couldn't really supply enough balls to see Kyle Gordon and Ben Doak flourish, but Kyle Gordon still did well considering he hasn't played much senior football for like 2 years. And Ben Doak, the problem is he doesn't have rhythm. He's only in and out of the Liverpool side, very patchy. In 2 weeks he doesn't play, and then he gets a game, and then for another 1 or 2 weeks he doesn't play. So it's very hard to get rhythm like that when you are a young player. I still think that Liverpool have a lot of talented players, but I still think Bajcetic is the best of the bunch, because when Bajcetic was called upon, when Liverpool had an awful midfield last season, he already started playing, and he started showing much better performances than the likes of Fabinho and Henderson, which says a lot about how mature he is as a kid in the head, as a teenager, and also he has immense talent. So hopefully Liverpool will be very careful with Bajcetic, but getting Bajcetic and Santiago back is a huge boost for Liverpool in the second half of the season, and that's why I would be focusing more. If I was Liverpool, or if I was in charge of Liverpool, I would be focusing more on getting a centre-back in the January transfer window, because that's where I think Liverpool's weakness is. As soon as we found out Matip is out for the season, I was already worried, even though we still have Gomez, Konate, Kwanzaa available. But if one of them get injured, then Liverpool will be starting to look very, very short in that area. Kyle Gordon was also the most fouled player on the pitch against Union. 5 fouls he got, and also he won 5 out of his 7 duels. He didn't get a lot of moments on the ball because the players behind him just wasn't good. They weren't good enough to supply him with enough balls. And also we have to give credit to Union, who are leading the Belgian first division. They are a pretty decent, solid team, and they were just better than Liverpool. They were hungrier. They of course had their first team out. Liverpool had their C team out there, or third team in some positions, but it's still an encouraging performance by Kyle Gordon. He has a really good first touch, and I liked it that when he took a touch, it was always to go forward. It wasn't always to just pass it 5 yards. So I wasn't really too bothered about Liverpool losing to Union. If you got very angry about it, I think you should take a chill pill, because there are much more important games for Liverpool coming up, and Liverpool still won the group, and we still get a bye to the last 16, and we have to see the last 32 draw, and then we will find out in March who do we get in the last 16. But that's a good thing for Liverpool, that we have 2 games less to play in Europe. And also my hometown team, Ferencváros, finished 2nd in the Europa Conference League, so they qualified to the round of 32 in the Europa Conference League, and also they are the only Hungarian side in European competition, and they back-to-back qualified from group stages. Last season they won their group in the Europa League. This season they finished 2nd in the Conference League, and they could even get my favorite Spanish team, Real Betis, so I'm really excited for the draw on Monday. And now let's talk about Mo Salah, who hopefully can continue his brilliant goal-scoring run against Manchester United. He loves to play against Man United. He's almost always scoring against them. And Paul Merson said, "Everyone tells me Bukayo Saka is one of the best wingers in the world, but playing in exactly the same position as Salah, he gets nowhere near Salah's numbers in terms of goals and assists. What Salah produces at the highest level is just mind-blowing. We talk about Jack Grealish, Phil Foden, who are unbelievable footballers, but they won't score as many as Salah put together. He's definitely in the top 5 players in the world for me. He always gets massive goals in massive football matches, and I can't speak highly enough of him as a player." Mo Salah averages 31 goals a season, and around 10 to 12 assists a season. Saka averages like half of that. Jack Grealish scored like 50 goals in his whole career, spanning more than 10 years, which says it all. I mean, he's a 5-goal a season player basically throughout his whole career, and Phil Foden is still already an established player. We shouldn't just call him a talent anymore because he's old enough to be judged fully, in my opinion, and he's also doesn't get anywhere near Mo Salah's numbers. So Paul Merson is fully right in this. And also the Liverpool dominate Man United in recent games, and that always worries me. But hopefully this fixture, this Liverpool Man United fixture, will turn into the Liverpool Arsenal game fixture, where in recent seasons, you know, in the last like 10 years probably, Arsenal always went to Anfield and lost. Of course, in the last 2 seasons they have been much better, but this Man United team is their worst team since the 70s or the 80s probably. So Liverpool absolutely have to beat this Manchester United team, no excuses, and hopefully we can get a fully fit squad and a very, very motivated squad on the pitch, and hopefully we can beat Man United, who have 12 or 13 players out with injuries, suspensions, or you know, they have a dispute with the manager. So come on Liverpool, let's beat Man United on Sunday, and more videos coming your way. Until then, thanks for watching guys, hope you enjoyed this, have a nice day, see you later, goodbye.